So if the folks at home are seeing us from an angle that looks like a desktop over here, that is true. And hopefully they can hear the audio pretty well as well. Okay, and we are getting our one fan that's online right now. She says she can hear us just fine. So Miss Putnam can hear us. Two fans. And Dale's on there too. Okay, good. All right. Thank you, everyone.
I will call to order the Mauldin, City of Mauldin, South Carolina, the regular City Council meeting of Monday, January 12th, 2026, approximately 7:05 p.m. Let the records reflect that all are present with the exception of Mr. Kraling and Mr. Allgood, City Administrator, City Clerk, Assistant City Administrators there, attorney to keep us straight, along with our department heads. So we thank you all for being here. With that, our invocation, pledge of allegiance, Mr. Matt.
Thank you, Mayor. I'd invite anybody who would like to please bow with me in prayer. Heavenly Father, we thank you for the opportunity to gather together and do the city's business. We ask that you open our ears so we can hear what our residents have to say and hear what each other has to say. Lord, we ask that you put your hand on everyone's hearts and ease the tensions that are out in this world, including the law enforcement officer, the Greenville City police officer who was targeted this past weekend outside the law enforcement center. These are not things that we need to see on TV. These are not things that you taught us. And we ask that you ease our hearts, you ease our minds, and just help calm this world. These things we're asking in your name. Amen.
Amen.
And I would ask for anybody who can and would like to stand for the pledge. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America, and to the republic which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, liberty and justice for all.
One thing I forgot to include in the welcome is our citizens that are present tonight. We appreciate you being here. So thank you very much. Proclamations and presentations, we do not have any on the agenda for this evening. Reading and approval of minutes, council in your packet, you should have the city council meeting of December 15th, 2025, along with the special call council meeting of January 5th, 2026, minutes before you or have been since last Thursday. Had a chance to read those. If anyone has any potential correction clarifications, and actually voice it now. Otherwise, I'm asking unanimous consent. Seeing and hearing none. The unanimous consent will consider the minutes approved as submitted. Next item on our agenda is public comment. For those that have signed up, it's not on the agenda items, so Mr. Siltel will wait till the second public comment, as he's well aware of. Not his first rodeo with us, and we appreciate that. And I won't bother to read all the rules because I know he probably knows them better than I do. So thank you, sir. We'll get back to you here shortly. Report for our city administrator. You want to make the announcement about our audio video technology snafu?
Yes, sir. So we're just having some audio difficulty and video difficulties. So we're coming to you still live from City Hall, but from a webcam on my desk versus our broadcast system that we have. So appreciate everyone's patience and understanding in that endeavor, and hopefully they won't have any problems with the audio as well. So just a few updates for everybody tonight, sir. First off, construction continues along Jenkins Street this week as crews are very busy installing curbing, sidewalk, and other enhancements as part of the city center streetscaping project. Once the road work is complete, crews will install landscaping and signage to close out the project. One of the most frequent questions asked by the community is, when will the railroad crossing be open? While I'm not able to give a definitive date tonight, it will be coming soon. So work has started on the approach ramps to the crossings, but paving will be a bit more complicated. Ideally, to lay asphalt, contractors like to see temperatures between 40 and 45 degrees and rising. Unfortunately, winter is not the best season to pave, and the overnight temperatures are expected to be below freezing for most of this week and part into next week. So it'll make paving the crossing challenging at best. Though we may still be a short period of time away from the full project completion. The pickle yard and townhomes are open, and we are already fielding prospect calls for more development here at City Center. So for those looking for something fun to do this weekend, we've got tickets on sale right now for the Bayte Experience. Get ready for a night where pop royalty takes over the Mauldin Cultural Center. Bayte Experience is not your typical concert. It's a full-on music review and party done by the Mauldin Theater Company. As part of our Spotlight series, the immersive experience celebrates the iconic music of Beyonce and Taylor Swift, featuring some of the upstate's most powerful vocalists, bringing their biggest hits to life. From anthems you scream at the top of your lungs to moments that stop you in your tracks. This is a high-energy night designed to move you, literally. The dance floor is going to be open all night long. Reserve riser seating and VIP seating is available. Food trucks will be on site. It's a concert-style experience that blurs the line between show and party. Whether you're vibing on the dance floor, singing along from your seat, or living your best VIP life, this is a Beyonce and Taylor Swift experience like no other. Our cultural center can write some good stuff. So I just copy and paste. It's good stuff. A few other quick notes, important dates to take down. Of course, Mauldin City Hall will be closed next Monday in honor of Martin Luther King Jr. Day. Offices will reopen on Tuesday at normal business hours. Mauldin Theater Company season reveal will be on January 30th at 6:30 p.m. Come join the fun as staff, cast, and more announce season 10's shows and events. So we're very excited about that. And got a couple more real quick. MTC presents, the Mauldin Theater Company presents Children of Eden. Tickets will be on sale soon for a wonderful immersive experience. The bittersweet but inspiring story will be on our stage from February 12th through February 15th. You can learn more about all of those and more at mauldinculturalcenter.org. And last but not least, because Mr. Allgood's not here tonight, I did also want to mention that spring sports registration has started. So if you got young ones looking for spring sports, get them signed up at the Mauldin Sports Center. That's my report, sir.
Thanks, sir. Any questions? Okay. Batman.
I was just curious, Mr. Duncan, if you'll be performing at the Bayte Experience this weekend.
So I will not be allowed on the stage, but definitely singing from my seat, wherever that may be. So,
I'm
yes.
sitting on the other side of the room, so that's good.
Thanks.
Just kidding. All right, thank you, sir. Reports from standing committees, economic planning and development, Mr. Magnet.
Nothing to report at this time, Mayor.
Sir, public safety, Ms. King.
All is well, nothing to report, thank you.
Thank you. Public Works, Mr. Crandon not here, anything earth shattering on that? None? All right. Finance and policy, Mr. Rose.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. Nothing to report at this time, and I'll take the report for recreation. Spring sports signups, nothing else to report.
Thank you, sir. Mr. Alden will feel good that you feel informed. Thank you. Business Development Service, Mr. Steinbeck.
Thank you, Mayor. Nothing to report at this time.
Thank you, sir. Unfinished business for the second meeting, we have none before us. We go ordinance first reading, Ms. Miller.
We have one ordinance for first reading tonight, and it's ordinance 1072 to amend chapter 10 businesses to establish chapter 8 stadium facility fee to support infrastructure and capital improvements at the stadium at Bridgeway Station.
This come out of finance, Mr. Rose.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. I'd like to make a motion. Approving the ordinance as submitted for the established stadium fee facilities fee.
Second.
Second from Mr. Matley. Any discussion? Mr. Matley.
Just wanted to get a clarification, Mr. Bramhall, y'all good?
All good, whenever this was, Mr. Hughes today, all good, any questions about this ordinance, happy to answer.
Thank you.
Thank you, sir. Any other questions? Seeing and hearing none, all those in favor of the motion to approve the stadium facility fee to support infrastructure and capital improvements of the stadium at Bridgeway Station as submitted, say aye.
Aye.
Those opposed, like sign. Hearing none, the motion carries 5-0. Okay, the next item before us is standing committee items, Mr. President, how was the day in the sun? He's not here.
I can take the first one if you want me to.
Ms. King, if you would like that first.
Mr. Reynolds and I can go back and forth.
Cindy introduce it, or can you?
I got it. It's, yeah.
Okay.
All right, so we have the, disposal of, some old, equipment. This is something that we periodically have to do, so at this time, I'd like to make the motion for council to approve the staff recommendations to dispose old, damaged capital and equipment.
Yeah, the motion, Ms. King, is there a second?
Second.
Second, Mr. Steinmeier. Any discussion? Here none, all those in favor of the motion to approve the disposal of the old damaged equipment and vehicles. Well, let's say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Those opposed, like sign. Here none, the motion carries 5-0. Next item before us is sidewalk repairs. Mr. Nuss.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. This came out of committee, the recommendation of approvals. I'd like to make the motion to approve the contract for sidewalk repairs along High Circle to RNG Construction.
We have the motion, Mr. Reynolds, is there a second?
Second.
Second, from Ms. King. Is there any discussion? Hearing none, all in favor of the motion to approve, the awarding of the contract for sidewalks fairs on High Circle with RMG Construction, say aye.
Aye.
Those opposed, like sign. Hearing none, motion carries. 3-0. Here, the next one before us. Ms. King, go ahead, put your, back to Ms. King.
This will be next. We're fine.
That's what I figured.
Good, oh, I'm sorry. I'm just waiting on you to get your thoughts together. All right, so this is coming out of Public Works, and I will make a motion for council to approve staff's recommendation and authorize funds from the transportation fund to commence a citywide repaving project, with the first priority being roads that scored less than 50, with the PCI report.
Yeah, motion, Ms. King, is there a second?
Second.
Second, from Mr. Steinbeck, or Mr. Reynolds. Send to the side. Any discussion? Mr. Steinbeck.
Yeah, Mr. Mayor, I mean, obviously it's a good thing, and obviously it's not, it barely, honestly, probably a drop in the bucket of what needs to happen, and we know roads continues to be an issue. I think, I honestly think there's probably, an opportunity for us to look at maybe increasing the funding of this, so that we can continue to address the issues in our city, that continue to come up on the lack of movement and support from SCDOT. So I just go on the record and say, I think there's the potential, if possible, for us to look at, if there is the potential or possible for us to look at how we might increase the amount of funding that we have to keep up with this. I know it's mainly for city roads, but even if we could do those quicker, I think it's probably worth the conversation. That's just
I believe we have scheduled this week on Thursday evening, our golden, budget, not golden, priority setting session. Be a good way to voice that again and, see if we can't come up with a way to make it a high priority, along with another one I'm thinking of. So I'll let you know that in Thursday night. Mr. Matt.
Thank you, Mayor. I think that what we're doing is something that is great for the city, something that our residents want, but I would ask that as a part of this process, that we also look long and hard at coordination. As 276 North Main was being repaved, we requested the DOT press the pause button while Piedmont Natural Gas relocated a line, so that we didn't have the utility company come in and cut fresh asphalt. I would like for us to work with Greenville Water to have our sewer department look for leaks in the pipes that will be under these new streets, so that as we pave these new streets, we're not going back in, and we've seen it on Mauldin Drive. And we've seen it on your street as well, even this week, where that fresh pavement is cut and then patched 2 years later. It may take a little more time to do that, but to be able to fix those problems together before we put that fresh asphalt, I think ultimately it becomes a better use of money.
Good point. Ms. King.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. I just wanted to add one quick note for the public that this is, $2 million has been allocated, to this project.
Is that included in our GO? Funds, GOD, I get the acronyms wrong, but
No, sir, this was a set aside amount that council put from surplus funds from last year. So this was that $2 million. We'll still continue to participate in the county and the GLDTC, which is the C Fund resurfacing program. So this will be in addition to all of those activities as well.
right.
Yes.
Thank you.
Rose.
Thank you, Ms. King. That's actually what I was about to point out, is one of the things left out of that was the substantial investment in the amount. And the sad thing with asphalt is the dollar signs all over the matters, because it's how far that gets you. And that's a substantial dollar sign. And I think council doing wise thing with staff's recommendation on taking surplus and investing it into the infrastructure that we currently have, because roads are a constant issue. So I commend council if this passes on listening, first off, but also just being thoughtful and fiscally responsible with surplus funds. But the other item I want to ask about, and this probably sound the same, but one of the things we talk about is being able to differentiate our roads from SCDOT, county roads, etc. And it may sound like an odd request, but I would be curious if there are ways to, as we make substantial improvements like this, to have a different way to notate this is a Mauldin road without sign. I don't know. Maybe we paint the yellow line different, our nice new colors or whatever, but have you seen cities do anything like that where we can differentiate somehow? Maybe pink asphalt, I don't know, I'm asking.
Pink asphalt would be an interesting idea. So I've seen some cities will put toppers, like in some areas in the state, DOT will actually put their DOT identifiers on top of the street signs. So that's an option. But yeah, I could look into that some more, but I don't have an instant idea off
Staff
that.
does a much better job of brainstorming. We do probably lots of times, so I just ask you to brainstorm.
I would not be in favor of the color of the asphalt as long as it took us to get rebranding colors. The paving colors. So wouldn't want to do that at all. And the other thing, just to note, and I think we run into this all the time, is we go down certain roads and the left half is the county road, the right half is a city road because it interfaces to a subdivision. Then it goes to a state road, then it goes back. So you never know. I mean, you'd have like 4 different signs out there every couple hundred yards in some of those fields. So, but the point well taken, it'd be nice to get credit for what we do. If you heard our, see if I can get the pronunciation until, if you heard from our state governor today, he's on top of the problem, but he suggested we put a lot more money in the South Carolina DOT because they're making such great progress. And that's a discussion for another day. But yeah, Mr. Madden. Oh, sorry. Get you next, Mr. Reynolds.
Thank you, Mayor. Just dovetailing on Mr. Reynolds, while this wouldn't necessarily be a color differentiation, when the county's paving contractor comes in, there's an A-frame sign that goes up and says, over the next 48 hours, this area will be paved by King Asphalt. We could use similar A-frame signs, just to let residents in those areas,
Mhm.
you know, who say, well, I'm not seeing any work going on, what are my tax dollars going to? But to let them know, your tax dollars as a resident of Mauldin are going toward this paving project.
Yeah.
And identifying those projects and that work that is being done so that they see that the investment that they have made in the city is something that's moving forward.
That's easy. That's easy.
Mr. Burns.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. I think it's Mr. Madden who said something about tooting his own horn and no one else tooting it for you or something like that, but I think to your point, it's an excellent way to broadcast to the citizens, folk do, but, I can't speak for the SCDOT, but in the city of Mall, it's a good job. About roads. As indicated by the list, and we mentioned it in the committee meeting, doing it again here. There are several roads on there that really poor scores. But there's a whole long list of roads, some of them do, but a whole long list of roads that have over 70+ scores, which is really good. So, thank you, Mr. Mayor, that's all I have.
Thank you, sir. I believe we're up to approximately 92 miles of city on roads. 95, something like that.
Somewhere in there, yeah,
That.
6 out.
The one thing I'll dovetail on is that on the list with the score of 33.54 and 25.56 is Taylor Road. As far as I know, that is still under discussion by developers and potentially putting a development in there that would be on Taylor's Road, and the emphasis would be on them to improve it. I would hate to see us go pave it, and then 2 months later, as Mr. Matthews said, they go through cutting it up because they're developing it different, you know, widening and putting ditches and sidewalks and all that kind of stuff there. So I know staff would be on top of it. I'd say be sure to keep moving that one down if the developer stands a chance of doing something there.
Absolutely, yes, sir.
Thanks, sir. Any other discussion? All right, here's on all those in favor of the motion to approve to utilize the funds from the transportation fund to commence a citywide repaving project to address all those roads with an IMS score first and foremost of 50 or less. Say aye.
Aye.
Those opposed, like sign. Hearing none, the motion carries 5-0. Next item is the infamous rebranding budget. Mr. Reynolds, let's finance that way.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. Also, just came out of finance recommendation of approval, so you have in your packet submitted the recommended budget for the upcoming city rebranding that had much discussion and debate. So with that said, I'd like to make a motion to approve the city's rebranding budget as submitted. This is funded previously by some surplus funds.
Thank you, Mr. Reynolds. Is there a second?
Second.
Second, Mr. Matthew. Any discussion? Mr. Reynolds.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. Just re-emphasizing, actually, I think what Mr. Matney that mentioned is as we go through this, making sure we're not rebranding over old branding and being thoughtful about how the signs are done. So that was discussed in committee, but just wanted to re-mention it here. That's all I have, Mr. Mayor. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Reynolds. So noted. Any other discussion? Hearing none, all in favor of the motion for approval of the city rebranding budget as funded by previously allocated funds. Say aye.
Aye.
Those opposed, like sign. Hearing none, the motion carries 5-0. Next item before us is a discussion on land use rezone that coming from business development and developers, business and development services. Interesting.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. Most of you were here, but just as a reminder, we had a discussion in our committee meetings last week. Last week about, one of the issues that we continue to see come up is there's rezoning requests are being made, but we still don't have a comprehensive plan that we are waiting on, and the comprehensive plan, the expectations that will inform a new zoning overhaul that is desperately needed or long overdue for the city. And so there's some questions around, what to do about zoning requests between now and then. And we threw a couple ideas out, and I think Mr. Matney's you know, suggestion at the end was to bring it to full council to get everyone to weigh in on it, although quite everyone's here tonight, but to open that discussion up for more voices, so that, you know, like I said, I know all of you were here to hear that discussion last week, but I think it's worth talking about, spending a little bit of time and considering what we do while we wait on that plan and what we do as far as our zoning goes.
Thank you, sir. So actually, no motion before us. It's open discussion to begin with. Not saying a motion could not come out of this item. We will open it up for discussion first and foremost. Anyone want to weigh in first? Mr. Klingbeck just did. You want to add anything else or just open discussion?
No, I mean, I think, I guess the two kind of thoughts were whether or not there would need to be a moratorium altogether on any sort of zoning requests, you know, or whether or not there's the opportunity to put it, you know, maybe it's only on land use changes. And I think the other thing that Mr. Duncan brought up was maybe even just, I don't remember exact wording was used, but the idea was, you know, basically communicating to, you know, to companies or individuals that come with rezoning requests, kind of the posture of the council, if it, you know, if there's consent on the council about, you know, not really interested in entertaining those at this time. So I think those were kind of the main points of discussion we had.
I know from the audience, what I heard too in the discussions, the fact that we talked about the fact that if we was to do this via an ordinance or something, it would take 2 readings, which could be, by the time they queue it up, would be 60 days roughly, kind of thing. Same thing would be if we just, the other option I think I heard was just an informal direction from us to staff that we would prefer not to take up zoning issues until after we see the comp plan type thing. You know, I went back and read our 2014 comp plan, and it's interesting. The comp plan is, David and I have had many discussions, and Mark and I have, Mr. Steinbeck and I have had a few too, and I do make some blunt assessments sometimes of what I think about that type of thing. It can be taken out of context sometimes, or it could be because I didn't voice the context. But the comp plan is really written at a macro level, not the micro level. So you can pretty much make anything fit. And I'm saying that to go back to the 2014 plan that you hopefully you've read and reviewed there. And you'll notice the things that we were addressing in 2014. None of it had to do with going west out Log Shoals Road, Ashmore Bridge Road, Fork Shoals Road, Antioch Church Road, all the roads that are out there. They wasn't even in there. But you don't, what's that? You don't look up. There's a phrase, I can't think of it right. Give horse in the mouth or something like that. So when it went out that way, and it did dovetail with the fact that we did have a goal and a priority to increase what they call heads and beds or rooftops. And until we got more rooftops, more citizens, we were not going to be considered by the large national chains to bring stores and restaurants here. So there was an emphasis that when those landowners said, hey, we're interested, we said, well, we're interested in talking, not we, but the city kind of thing. So that's kind of how we headed out that way type thing. We can go on and on about that, but that's enough for me. I'll throw it back out in the other discussion. I think, well, let me recap what I think before I pass it away. I think staff, David and the rest of them could basically no, I don't want to use that term. They could look at it long and hard and ask developers, you know, we're really waiting on the comp plan and to see how your development may come in better with our comp plan. We'd ask you to hold off or be a little slower than that, because there is some discussion on council and we don't, I personally don't want us to do a moratorium or pass a resolution saying, hey, all land use rezoning, reclassification is stopped until we see the comp plan, because the rest of us an opinion. But anyway, I don't think we'd need to do that. I think asking staff to hurry up the comp plan. What's that thing we've been talking about since 2015? The zoning overlay districts, kind of, maybe that will come to fruition sometime between the new comp plan and the next 10-year comp plan. So from that standpoint, I think we could work together on that and not have to make an official resolution. Or that's my opinion. I know Mr. Madden is dying to jump in there, so I'll recognize Mr. Madden.
No, Mayor, I think I said all I needed to say, during committee, and I think that it sounds like to me that council's all on the same page. And the staff is probably hearing what council's saying, so I don't know that I have anything more substantive to add to the conversation.
Sir. Ms. King.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. I will just add, with the timing, and having to do 2 readings on an ordinance, I'm hopeful that the comprehensive plan will be ready in the next 3 to 4 months, which would be a moot point for us to put a true ordinance and a hold on zoning, in my opinion. And, I think it's important to remember that there's possibly, and I know there's one piece of property, I don't know what's currently going on with it here in the city, but I'm sure there's more that zoning requests may come up in the next 3 to 6 months. And it's a positive change that would help bring, and I'm talking, when I'm talking about off Horn Road.
Yeah.
I mean, it's a small, it's a small, that might not come to
Right, it would,
to us in the near future, but, when we zoned that years ago, there was an intent, but that doesn't apply any longer. So I would hate for someone like that to be told no, if it were to come up in the next 3 months.
yes, ma'am, that you're speaking of isn't technically a rezoning, but it would require an ordinance to update the PD standards.
Right.
So it
Okay.
still would be, it's not exactly the same, but because it would be enhancing the capacity of the types of businesses to go into the PD, it would still would be an ordinance that would come to council. Correct, Mr. Dion? Okay.
But it's not on National Bridge Road.
It is not on National Bridge Road, and it's not a change of the zoning, it's just, so that particular PD has restrictions that are in place as far as like operating hours
Yes.
and things like this, and this change would be to increase that slightly, but wouldn't change technically the type of use. So if it was prescribed, that medical use would be allowed, but it limited medical use to 5 PM. This would be perhaps changing from 5 to 8 PM. So it's something like that. That's the only thing that we're aware of any request or even soft feelers at this point for any type of changes. And
But like you said, that wouldn't be a rezoning per se, but I think that's a good example of where council had good intent 10+ years ago, but the city has changed. So we need to adapt that zoning accordingly. So. Yeah, and I agree with Mr. Matney. I think for the most part, we're all on the same page, or close, and staff hears that message, so, anxious to see what the plan looks like. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Willis.
Thank you, Ms. Mayor, for your quick citizen. I think first I'd like to thank Mr. Mack and his committee for forwarding this to full council, because it is a weighty discussion that I think is worthy of this whole body, and I appreciate that you all recognize that and put it forward. And I think secondly, I would be highly leery of anything that mentions words of memorandum or moratoriums and stuff like that, just because it's really hard to predict the future. And we want growth. The reality is we do want growth. We want smart growth, good growth, growth that's good for the city and growth that's good for the citizens. One of the things in this, though, I think that we have highly skilled communicators like Mr. Dearmont and Seth, and I think we can trust staff to do exactly as you said, as developers come to the city. Again, you may have some more authority tomorrow, but development typically works in 2 to 3 to 4 year time periods. So I think that a short window here is something with us staff to communicate effectively on our behalf. But again, thank you to your committee for bringing it and letting us all in on this. That's all I have, Mr. Mayor.
Okay, thank you, Mr. Steve.
I would like to make one point of clarification while the issue at the end of the year, last year, down National Bridge Road. To me, that's separate to this. I do think this is, looking at it, I mean, I think that one highlighted it to a certain degree. But if something's on my mind before, and I think, after, I do think it's important for the whole city because we want to look at the city as a whole and, to reiterate what I had said in, committee, we're not going to be able to expand out much anymore. And so we're going to have to go up. And that's not something I think any of us have really thought about. The city hasn't had to think about to this point. And so it's just, I think, I don't want to be looking back in 10 years and be like, man, we let something get away right there. Because we weren't thinking about that. And that's, that really ultimately is my goal is for the city as a whole.
Thanks, sir. Anyone else? All right. What was our discussion on that? Any other discussion on questions coming out of this? Next item is committee of the whole. We don't have anything. Our next item is public comment with non-agenda items. That is for anything for the good of the city of Mauldin that might need to be brought to the attention of this council. Those who signed up, and he's no stranger to us, but Mr. Sindel, if you'll come to be sure that mic's on green and pull it down to your level and state your name and your address.
Joe Centel, 226 Edgewood Drive, Mauldin. Mr. City Administrator, I appreciate you talking about Dinkin Street. That was my question. I don't know why people ask me what's going on. I don't know. So I can go back tomorrow and tell these people, a gentle reminder that they do have this new product called cement, and it can be poured in harsher environments than asphalt. My second was not a statement more or less for y'all, but for us as a neighborhood. No, we have children riding go-karts, mini bikes, electric scooters. And I understand. Heck, as a kid, I rode in things. When we lived in the country, we rode them in cow pastures, but riding them on the road and or any of the streets. And they have a tendency to do it at dusk. No lights. And I don't want to pick a kid up off the street. It's not fine, but we don't want to do it. I want to ask the police department, be diligent, and I know that at this time of the year, it's cold. Keep your eye. We can't afford to lose the child. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Sindel. We've missed the only one we had. Next item, council concerns. Anything from council as a body?
I'll say
Mr. Rose.
quick comment, not so much a concern, but more of a comment. Mr. Steinbeck, you just referenced back to a vote towards the end of the year. That was lots of discussion. One of the things I took from that vote note and took from this body that I really appreciate is you, as well as some of us, passionately disagreeing what the outcome could be, should be, what's best for the city. But we did exactly what we're called to do up here. And I appreciated that in that moment, in those contentious debates, it was civil, thoughtful, and really the way this body's intended to operate. You had a negative vote that I disagree with, but you did it with conviction and with passion, representing your city. So that's one of those things that often gets said, certainly doesn't often get said in public, but I appreciated your no vote, even though I very much disagreed with him. I very much appreciate it. And that's all I had. That just struck me as you said that, and I wanted to point that out. That's all I have, Mr. Mayor. Thank you.
Thanks, sir. Nothing else? All right, what I hear on adjournment?
So moved.
Motion, Mr. Manning, a second, Mr. Freeman, all those in favor of adjournment, say aye.
Aye.
As opposed, like sign here, none, we stand adjourned at about 7:45.
Ms. Miller, you out.